in this Maya is the greatest pain, and it drives people to wander all around the world to find answers until one becomes absolutely exhausted, becomes cornered. And then when one mind is cornered, what happens? That mind identity experiences a certain so-called breakdown, the healthy breakdown, where one breaks down. But what is breaking down is that held identity of that sufferer that has exhausted himself and there's nowhere else to go. And that's when it's a golden opportunity for that being to literally fall onto one's knees and say, I give up. I'm exhausted. I give up. And that's where then becomes this new seed in one's heart and soul. Something rekindles, very precious, the treasure of this great devotion. As it is then an upward stream that, by the grace of God, by the light that guides you back to the source, is where, when this great identity of self-centeredness dissolves. And here I have a beautiful quote from the Guru Granth Sahib, which I would like to share with you. I have grown weary of making so many friends, hoping that someone might be able to end my suffering. Meeting with my beloved, my suffering has ended. I have attained union with the word of the Shabd. So the divine light and sound stream is what uplifts us to the direction of reuniting and merging with God. Because there is nothing here on earth that will fulfill you as a soul. There's nothing that can uplift you and fulfill even your highest desires. Because even the highest desire of merging with God, as you merge with God, no desires are remaining. So when the personal self surrenders to the divine's will, the mind and the body are totally suited. And that is where the Nam, the word, comes to dwell within the mind. That's how it purifies the mind. That's how it purifies your soul. That's how it purifies your heart. Because the self-serving individual does not recognize God. And how will they spend their life when one is filled with arrogance or ignorance? They are burning with desires and they suffer. They suffer in the pain of the love of duality. This is the greatest trap, the greatest illusion of all. So a soul is truly happy, is truly in bliss, when the soul is attuned to that divine light and sound stream. And it is from there that this egotism begins to resolve, unwind, and it is eliminated from within. This is the purification of the soul that moves from this place of selflessness, in reverence, in remembrance at all times. Of the beloved God. So devotion is a true treasure that is overflowing. And when one attunes to this stream, to this way of devotion, the beloved God abides in yourself, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul. And this is how you are supported. This is the grace that uplifts you, that pulls you out of the ignorance, that pulls you out of the self-centered suffering. This is how you transcend illusions of misplaced identities, misplaced investments, and redirecting your focus to align with the voice of God, with the love of God, with the stream of God. So if we are filled with arrogance and ignorance, how will we know God? If we are wrapped up in all sorts of desires, what are the chances that God will reveal to you? If we are attached to the sufferings of duality, how can the one true God reveal himself to you? So the soul only becomes delighted, joyful, and blissful through redirecting its investments through devotion, through the selflessness, and placing one's attention on the eternal love of God. And then one sees for oneself how everything begins to dissolve. When you give power to the eternal love of God, when you become so transparent and even forgetting yourself, forgetting the importance of this self-centeredness, then there is nothing that can hold you back. Because there is only one direction, one attention, one dedication. And to make that clear, that can emanate through everything that you do. From the mundane to the most sacred actions. So it is irrelevant of what job you have, of where you live on the world. It's irrelevant. All of it is irrelevant. There's no excuses for anyone, no matter how turbulent your past was, or maybe how difficult you see your life to be. These are all excuses. These are all holding you in a loop, in a trap, in a cycle. And the way out of any loop or cycle is to rise out of it, rise above it, transcend it, disassociate with it. That is, if it's lingering there for some good few decades. Give that up. Become selfless and see for yourself what happens. Because in that selflessness, there is such great power, immense power that no word can describe it. Only you for yourself can experience it directly. So if you can remember that in all actions that you do, all of them, you are serving God. You are the servant of God. This is why through this vehicle, through this selflessness, it is not you as the person that is in control of this or that. No, you become the open vessel so that God's word can move through you. And according to God's will, your body moves beyond thought, beyond doubt, beyond uncertainties, because this body and this soul here is here to be of service to God. And allow that to unfold to you without any definition, because there is no right way or wrong way how God speaks to you and how God's word moves through you. And you have the whole life experience to practice. Every moment can be dedicated to that eternal love, to that eternal ocean of this immense emanation of love of God. So our world is only polluted because of its egotism. And this is where the humanity suffers in great pain, because one is so entangled up with the love one has towards duality. And this egotism, it cannot be washed away with any cleansing baths or incense, but devotional service. selfless service, meaning that your selfless service and its fruits of the action is not attained in the person. It's given to God in whatever one performs. And that is one way how the mind, the polluted mind, can be purified. Another way is karma yoga. Karma yoga also really supports this purification of attachments and karmas. It's a way, it's an entry point, I would say. It's like first level of experiencing how it feels like to be selfless. But as you familiarize more and more with the word, the Nam, and you start working through this unwinding process, disillusionment, becoming more transparent, more selfless, then there is much deeper, more advanced ways of how you can devote yourself and become selfless.